So hello everyone, I'm Nimrod Knoller, I'm the head of Lava Foundation, and we're starting today a new series of ecosystem calls where we're going to give a quick recap to the ecosystem of the last month. Since it's a new series, today we will look back from Jan 2025 until today just to quickly get up to speed with what happened in the ecosystem, and we'll take it from there. So first we'll go over a quick agenda. So we're going to start with a quick introduction to myself. We're then going to review, as mentioned, from January 25 till April 26. We'll do a quick review. We'll review the foundation goals quickly to remind everyone or to cover for everyone that are not sure. We will then go to product development, talk about sales, tokenomics, collaborations, and then we will have in these series partners with us from the ecosystem, so the rest of the ecosystem can see who is building with Lava, who's working with the foundation, so you get a bit better context. Today we have with us Cryptocito. Michael, let's say hi.
Thank you, Nemo. Pleasure to be here.
Cool. Pleasure that you came with us. Thank you again for joining. So Michael will speak a bit, and we'll finish off with where you can meet us and how you can help. So let's get started. I'm Nimrod Knoller. I'm the head of the foundation. I joined Lava last June. I am 11 months already in the team. I have 10 plus years in tech leadership positions and always enterprise focused startups in machine learning, AI, IoT, and blockchain industries. Quick recap from January 25 to April 26. So if we look at the macro outlook, what we saw in the last year and a half is a shift from a builder-focused industry to an institutional adoption focus of the whole industry, right? And that came together with a broad market reset in last October. And these two essentially created a cool down in ecosystem grants, right? So builders grants across the whole ecosystem. That directly impacted, of course, Lava, where we had the majority of our revenue coming from previously. So overall, Lava's revenue, we've collected about 3.5 million USD in grants over the years. And that really quickly started to diminish, right? The focus of the industry went away from there. Yeah, so the foundation reacted to these changes decisively and transitioned from a more builder base and a builder focused model and a grant oriented model to a subscription and institutional product base, right? So the main thing is most of the dev team changed with the dev code. We have a new product team that's focused on selling subscriptions with background of subscriptions and institutional products. We have a new sales team that's oriented to sales versus general blockchain BD or ecosystem. And then also management, both on the Magma and the DevCo side, and in the foundation myself, that come from this institutional and enterprise focus sales backgrounds. In this time, we already started seeing first successes in this new direction. So we had a design partnership already signed in June with Fireblocks, then partnership with GCP later on in October. We have the research partnership coming with Professor Sandy Pentland from MIT, signed back in November. Kraken started using the Smart Router, which is a product from Magma, the DevCo, the Lava DevCo, and is based on the Lava Tech. Lava Foundation partnered with Bitcore in February 26, and now in April, we just recently announced that that Hypernative is using the Lava RPC. When we take a second back and look at the goals and where we want to go with this, then I think that the main goal, as mentioned before, is institutional RPC. We're focusing on these institutional clients. That's where we're building towards, and that's where we're addressing our sales kind of capacity and runway and goals. At the same time, we're also it's very important for us to become a sustainable ecosystem. So within 18 months, we're aiming at the foundation that Lava would be self-sustained based on usage alone, and will be independent of token price in that sense. And so meaning if token fluctuates with the market, there's bear market, bull market, the revenues coming in to the ecosystem based on the RPC usage would sustain it, and would sustain all providers and the foundation. And the third, we want to become the connectivity standard. That's the overall goal, I think, for the ecosystem. Essentially turn Lava into the fundamental connectivity layer of all blockchains. Looking at product development and what we've been working on recently. So first thing is streamlining and onboarding payment infra. That should be ready already next month. So you should see big upgrades to the payment infra. Users should be able to just users or customers that want to buy Lava RPC subscriptions be able to just join the website, click and get access to it, and pay directly on the website. So making all of that much simpler. And the second topic is we're working together with enterprise partners to define features and upgrades that they require. So that mainly goes in 3 topics that they're looking at. One is security, if it's stuff like SOC 2 or many other things. 2, quality of service. They have different latency requirements, SLA requirements that we're working with them to find and provide. And 3, compliance. So different enterprises, partners, and clients have different compliance needs and requirements based on jurisdictions, and we're trying to create a solution that would work around their particular demands and needs for those jurisdictions. We're still in development. Potentially, we're looking at provider whitelisting for a particular client. We need to see how that would work out. More to come on that in the next weeks. Then the last point we're looking at is a research topic and moving Lava away from the Cosmos SDK. So Cosmos was a great hub for Lava for the last years. That being said, with a different development in Cosmos, there are concerns of the longevity and sustainability of the ecosystem, or the impact that the impact that ecosystem can have on Lava into the future. And we're looking for we're researching what it would mean to move Lava away from Cosmos and what that could look like. Okay, next point, sales. So sales, we're building up an enterprise-led growth ecosystem, right? So we're doing that with 3 approach. One, we brought in sales into the foundation. Before, sales was with the Magma DevCo. Now we work closer with the providers. It makes sense that we would also work closer with the paying customers. And 2, we're scaling up the subscription adoptions, as mentioned before, really focusing on subscription. What we mentioned before on the product side, that is the first step of simplifying subscriptions for the everyday user or Web3 enterprises, Web3 companies. We also have a new sales team. So we are, again, transitioning to a sales-led growth ecosystem. We have a strong sales team, 2 sales managers, 1 sales success engineer, very strong backgrounds both in SaaS sales and in Web3. They started already last month, actually a bit before even. And we've now set up revenue-driven KPIs rather than ecosystem growth KPIs. The first push with sales is subscriptions, for subscriptions, push for the sales team is mid-size Web3 teams and first institutions. We already have revenues for February, March. We count revenue between the 15th of the month between 15th to 15th of each month. That's why it's always 2 months mentioned. We do that because that aligns with the pool top-ups for providers. So that's when kind of revenue is most important for us. So between February 15th to March 15th, we had about 10,000 euro in subscription revenue that grew to 15,000, and we expect for April, May that number to grow to around 21,000. Another thing that came out was through this process of transitioning from a builder and grants based ecosystem to a subscription based ecosystem, we realized that we have about 120,000 USD per month that were not really captured by the old model and are consumed by mid to large size consumers. And we're now transitioning, we're expecting to convert all of them. We're expecting to convert 20 to 30% of them. Last point, we have this larger focus on long-term enterprise deals, right? So we have a big funnel that focuses in that direction. And then we look currently at the institutional different distribution channels, right? The first channel is Magma, Lava's DevCo. Beyond just developing and improving Lava, they've also have their own product, the Smart Router, where Lava RPC is plugged in as a default RPC solution. And their clients are different institutions. They already have Fireblocks, Kraken, Hypernative, and one big announcement coming up next month, of which already Hypernative is paying for Lava RPC as well. And also their next announcement, it's already live on Lava RPC. So that's 2 customers that came via this channel. The other channel is Sandbox. Sandbox is a concept that started just recently. We're still testing it out. It came from a few partners that we're working with. And the idea is to open up for different dApps and Web3 companies that are using Lava or the transitioning to use Lava, allowing them to work together in this sandbox with the different companies. We have currently 3 banks and 3 real estate companies that are looking into this, with the idea that everyone involved needs a time to adapt to each other's space. What does that mean? That institutions need to still kind of understand the Web3 space a bit better, what they can really do with it, what was really built in the last decade in the Web3 space, and what are their needs. And then for the different teams in Web3, we need the time to create those institutional features, if it's, again, security, if it's in a different compliance and regulation that the different teams need to adhere to in order to work with banks or larger companies. We can work together in these sandboxes, develop the full solutions. We're in discussion with a few of these guys, and we'll have first results soon, and we'll let you know how that goes and keep you posted if there are any opportunities coming up there. Regarding Lava tokenomics, so the current model, right, users pay with fiat stable that's converted to Lava. 2% of that goes to the community pool, 5% of that goes to validators, the rest distributed to providers. We are looking to change and update this tokenomics model together with the Cosmos change. We're, again, researching both at the same time. We will have some ideas and opinions coming up soon, and of course share that with the community. This will of course be done via discussion and eventually via a vote, a community vote, and you'll be informed of that as this develops. Now into some of our strategic collaborations of recent. So first is Cito, that's here. So Michael, Cryptocito. I'll let Michael soon talk more about himself, but those of you who might know him from his YouTube channel, Cryptocito, he's a KOL. He's an early supporter of Lava, and he's actively supporting Lava's ecosystem and with crypto native media. We also announced back in January a collaboration with Professor Pentland from MIT, looking into Lava as a trusted layer for agents. and this kind of TCP/IP moment for blockchain. So again, this vision of blockchain being the infra layer for it, Lava being the infra layer for blockchains, right? And that's the research angle there. And last is Bitcore Capital. They're regulated crypto. They're creating regulated crypto-backed financial instruments. They're backed by the former Israeli president, Rubi Rivlin. They're planning to use Lava RPC for the digital shekel, and that would be essentially the first stable coin that would, or widely adopted stable coin. That would be the first stable coin that uses Lava, and they're looking to Lava token back to create Lava token back treasuries and Lava landings and other different financial instruments that are Lava backed, and that's a very exciting collaboration. Yeah, so please meet Michael. Michael, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Nemo. And just a quick backstory, as you mentioned, I've been part of the Lava journey since very early days. I've met the team back in late summer of 2022. Also been an investor myself. Also running infrastructure. I think I was also one of the first kind of public content creators to cover Lava network with the community. And I think that was really exciting to kind of follow that journey over the years. And then when we first met Nemo in December in Abu Dhabi, I think that was really cool opportunity to discuss further on how we can collaborate. So I'm very excited to join and be also more involved operationally in the media side, hosting sessions like this today, which also helps, I think, the Lava community to get a better insight on other things that are cooking and to also streamline communications. As you've mentioned, there's a big institutional focus in crypto right now. I guess it's called digital assets, so no more crypto anymore. But yeah, I think with that new market reality that we're in, it also makes sense to adapt communications, marketing efforts, content strategies, different new forms of media that are popping up. And I think also from a project side, there's a lot of upside and a lot of value to be positioned in that domain. And yeah, and then that also trickles into partnership campaigns, that trickles into event strategies. So it's kind of all interconnected. You can see on the bottom right the picture. I also did live stream conversations with Ignacio, the product lead at the Lava Foundation, and partners as well to kind of walk through integrations more from a technical side. But yeah, I think that's really the core of this partnership, and grateful for the trust to work together with you and hope we can achieve good things this year.
Thank you, Michael. We're also very happy for this partnership. I think your involvement in the ecosystem is great. It's really, yeah, it's noticeable. So, where were we and where can you meet us? We were in Consensus earlier this year in Hong Kong. 2 weeks ago, we were at Paris Blockchain Week, and last week we've sent people to Decentralized Lugano and also HSC Hong Kong. We will be next month in Southeast Asia Blockchain Week, and then again we'll go to Point Zero Forum in Switzerland. So if you're in any of these events, feel free to ping us and meet us there. I'll also post more about these events before we go, and you'd know who you could meet and where exactly. So how can you help? If you are a validator, provider, token holder, general in the Lava ecosystem or involved, we'd appreciate any introduction to companies that are building on chain, and they need RPCs, right? You can send them via our to our website or social channels, and our team will reach out to them or pick up the conversation with them. Additionally, we're looking for support for Lava expansion into institutional and enterprises use cases. So if you have contact to any enterprises or institutions that are growing their engagement in blockchain with digital assets, then again, would be great if you can make those introductions. with us, with me, with the team. We'd highly appreciate that.
Yeah, and also to add one thing from the marketing and comms perspective, with the recent incident that happened around LayerZero, I think it really showcased how fragile DeFi is and how important anti-fragile infrastructure is. And even though it's maybe not a trending and hot and sexy topic to talk about, it the most important pillar that this entire industry is being built on. And I think also as institutional capitalists moving on chain, they also require that level of stability and resilience, right? So with that in mind, I think we're also trying to be louder about that fact that this is an important and oftentimes overlooked fact and pillar. We're thinking to launch series or video content interviews with partners, but also with Nemo and Jair and people from the magma and development side as well, because it's a very important topic. And yeah, I think that's another important insight on how we position lava, and also an important aspect that still I'm personally convinced from a lava token holder and investor point of view that I still believe in long term this is a much needed field that this entire industry need to do much better with. So yeah, just wanted to share that angle as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, everyone. If you followed us all the way up to here, thank you, Michael, for joining us today. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just my full name on LinkedIn. It's really, I'm the only one. And we'll do that again next month. So until then.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.